Hey there folks, I'm Serious JG, and welcome back to Let's Play Nioh. May the road rise to meet you, and the wind be always at your back. Anyway folks, I'm allowed to do that because I'm of Irish descent, I guess. You can be upset by that if you want to be. It's a bit of a double standard as far as people of different ethnic backgrounds and national backgrounds being entitled to get upset. Irish, Italians, certain other groups, not so much. But on the flip side, generally people no longer refer to us as coming from shithole country, so, you know, I guess I'll take that trade. Anyways, way to start way political, like courting people getting upset. Now I'll start talking about climate change and really piss everybody off. So last time, I'm online now, the big difference being a lot more of those red grave markers show up, and in off-screening that's probably a good thing, because I found out what Glory does. Glory will eventually enable us to buy items at the secret tea house, which we haven't unlocked yet. Also, saving up Glory allows you to have fun by buying skins, which basically means you can play the game and you will look like someone else. And it works exactly the way that I feel like it should work in the Ninja Gaiden games, where you can unlock, you know, what's their names? Momoji and Ayane and Kasumi and all them people. But you can actually play through any mission you want as them, and if the time comes for a cinematic, it just switches back to what's his name? William. I wanted to say Patrick, just because his only character, as someone has pointed out already in the comments, is he's Irish. So that's how it should work in the Ninja Gaiden games, but it doesn't. I guess the big difference being that those other characters, who are generally all sex-A females you can play as in the Ninja Gaiden games, do fight differently from Hayabusa. And it occurs to me too, is people were joking in the comments about how William's only personality is he's Irish, and he hasn't really exhibited a lot of personality so far in the game. That being said, neither does Ryu in Ninja Gaiden, and this is kind of the Ninja Gaiden people trying to make a game that's similar to Dark Souls and a little bit more serious in tone than Ninja Gaiden. So it shouldn't be that shocking towards people who know the Team Ninja games that deep characters are not their main deal. But yeah, so saving up glory points, which you get for defeating those revenants, will allow you to purchase skins. You can play as other characters, at least in appearance. But they will fight the same as William would, depending on what weapon they're equipped with. There's, apparently though, because I was thinking, oh, I guess you get to play as sex-ed chicks, because that's the Ninja Gaiden thing. Not really. There's like a dozen plus characters you can play as, only 3 of them are female, and those are all really expensive. In terms of, I think I'm looking at the rate at which I'm gaining. Let's look at my status here. I have, I unlocked a new Guardian Spirit. We'll talk about that. I have, where the hell is it going to tell me? My glory owned is 2,400. Like, I've actually fairly recently picked up a lot more. But it's 2,117. Well, apparently, I think it's either 70,000 or I believe 700,000 to unlock playing as the chick that, like, said she doesn't like a drunk samurai. So that's like an example. Or she might even be more than that. But yeah, it's like hundreds of thousands of points to play as them. So I'm like 2% of the way to being able to unlock her. If I wanted to, like, you know, to make the off-screening more fun, I'll switch to playing as a different character from William. And, yeah, apparently that's how it works. Like, whatever armor I'm equipping on William, I can equip any armor I want, and the character model will remain the character model of that NPC. If you use Glory to buy a new skin for yourself. And that's, whatever. It's basically a big, as they would say in Kingdom of Loathing, a meat sink. But I also unlocked a new Guardian Beast, because what I did, and I said in the end of the last video, well, let me know in the comments whether you want me to see every single submission, or if I should do submissions off screen and then come back for the story missions. But I'll probably have done some submissions off screen by the time this is public, and you'll have a chance to vote. So I'll still read what everyone said, and I could always go back and replay submissions. But I've done some submissions off screen, including Wreathed in Flame, which is kind of an interesting one. Okatsu shows up as Do you remember the village where you met Master Hanzo? It seems there's some mysterious new power as at work there now. I heard from the village elder that the whole area is like a hellscape. Please return to the village and save it before anything worse happens. Well, if you win that one, you get you fight through the burning village portion of that first map. You can't get back to the section of the map. Hold on, let me explain it better. You start at the boat. You can't get, like, that door that leads to the elder's house is blocked off. So the entire, like, second half of the level, the burning village portion of the level, is pretty much accessible. And scattered throughout that burning village are 3 of those, like, things that we encountered in the Twilight mission. Well, it turns out they're called wheel monks. They spin around, and they have, like, this face, but there's a wheel around it. They spin around, they shoot fire. You have to defeat them, and they have these the first time you defeat each one, there's a voice-acted thing in Japanese saying something along the lines of, "How could you do this to my body?" And, "Terrible that my life should be given to increase your power." And at the end, you get this little speech from Okatsu. Again, not voice-acted. Just her picture here and some text, and it says something like, "Villagers turned into fiery monsters. How terrible. What a bizarre power. The mayor is grateful that you were able to bring an end to this. However, as he was leaving, he muttered something about needing to find new sacrifices, ... And that's it. It's never mentioned again. I'm like, what? We now know the mayor of this town is, like, sacrificing people to turn them into demons, and we're not going to do anything. Okay. Anyway. Oh, I'm getting funky noises from my recording software. I sure hope my computer didn't crash. Looks like everything's good. Man, you remember back when I started recording Andromeda, I was having all these, like, horrible issues with this computer. They're creeping back in. Not as bad as they were, but it's very annoying. Anyway, so I did Deep in the Shadows on screen, which, that was the main mission. Then we had a mission called Finders Keepers, where Kurata Nagamasa, the guy we rescued, says, "Sir Anjin, I have a rather embarrassing request," because Anjin is your Japanese name, I guess. "The famed sword Heshikiri Hasabe, treasure of the Kuroda clan, has gone missing. I recall feeling a fumbling at my waist while I was grappling with that demonic harlot in the cave, but she didn't have it. Excuse me. Sorry. It must have been some other demon. I beg of you, please find the sword and return it to me." Well, when you do this mission, you remember those little weird fiery turtle guys that we found also in the Twilight mission? Yeah, there's one of those in the bottom layer of the cave, and I did some off-screening in that cave. I got all of the Kuroda spirits, for example. Did some off-screening in that cave to level up a bit, but the bottom section of that cave, there is a whole bunch of, like, revenants that you can summon, and there's one of those little turtle guys with the glowing red turtle shell back, and he runs away from you. Pretty much all of the revenants that I find in there are labeled killed by one-eyed yokai, or one-eyed demon. And in fact, there is a cyclops down there. But that's pretty much it, unless you go out of your way to try to climb out of that bottom of the cave. And you can get some ways up there, but not that far up there. You don't really encounter that many other enemies. There's a couple of enemies around, but not many. So basically you chase around that little turtle guy, and when you finally capture him and defeat him, it says mission clear, because he's supposed to have the sword. And then you get a little speech from Crowder. It's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you found it. Well, don't tell my dad." We also have Kanbei and the Overlord, which is the last submission we can do here now. "Sir Anjin, could I ask you to search for the sword Heshikiri Hasabe, treasure of our clan? I had entrusted it to that oaf Nagamasa, but it just came to me wailing that he'd lost it again. I believe you already found it for him once. The fool probably dropped it in the cave during the fight with the yokai. I would ask that you come to the clan's aid and retrieve the sword once more. Rumor has it that around the time the sword was lost, dead warriors began to roam the cave. Be on your guard." And in that one, when you, again, you start at kind of the, you start at pretty much like, you remember how we were going through that whole mine. The first half of the level was like, you walk around a path outside some cliffs and you fight through a mine, and then eventually you get back to another path outside and a shrine, and then past that, you have a shrine at the beginning, you have a shrine in the middle, and then right after the hot springs, and then you go past that second shrine, you start getting deeper and deeper into a cave, and you stop encountering human enemies and start encountering lots of demons. Well, and eventually fight your way to the very bottom where the boss is. Well, we started that kind of the first shrine that you reach other than the beginning one, and the way deep into the caves is blocked. So this time you're fighting your way back towards the entrance of the level. There's lots of revenants, there's lots of enemies you don't have to fight, but eventually you get to this big room in the center of the mine, which in the first playthrough, it's kind of like the first time you poke into the mine, and there's like a locked door that you have to backtrack to get to after you find the key and blah blah. Well, that place is just full of revenants. And it's kind of interesting. It might be worth showing on screen, except that I've already done it now twice to get all the rewards. But when you fight your way in, enemies pop up. Like, the revenants start coming to life without you touching them. And basically there's like kind of a series of battles where you get a Yomai field appears and blocks your exit. And you get into kind of an endurance battle where, like, 2 skeleton warriors appear, and then some more guys spawn, and some more guys spawn, and you get to the point where you're not allowed to backtrack out, and you can't fight one at a time. So it's kind of challenging, although I was over-leveled for it. But I eventually got it done. But the big shock was that at the end of that, I actually got a new Guardian Spirit, which I wasn't expecting. So a cinematic started playing, and I was like, oh no, I'm all screwed up now because I'm doing my off-screening and I'm not ready to record. Oh no, what will become of us now? Luckily, I found out that, in fact, you can go back and revisit those. So here we have Mizuchi. And let's play. This is the movie that starts playing as I won the level. Oh no, it's turning into Lost Odyssey. He's gonna look at the sun when his eyes have been not adapted. He's gonna go blind, and it's gonna be really creative writing that everyone thinks is awesome. I kind of hated Lost Odyssey a little bit. Parts of it. Hideyoshi basically invades Korea because he feels like he needs to conquer something. So that would, I guess that's Kenbei Kuroda, because this was his guardian spirit, right? So that's basically Kenbei, sorry, Kuroda Kanbei, or Kanbei Kuroda, the wise old strategist who worked for Hideyoshi. But he noted how, or his guardian spirit. Somebody noted that, Nobunaga killed a lot of people, and then Hideyoshi has enough power that he can clear a war ban. But then he invades Korea without really consolidating his power in Japan first, and then he dies. And now the whole backdrop of the game is that we're about to have open warfare between the Western army of Mitsunari Ishida and the Eastern army of Ieyasu Tokugawa. I'm probably saying the names in the wrong orders because I always get confused how it's written and how it's spoken. But this spirit is really hoping that things will go the way of the Nagamasa, of Kuroda Nagamasa. Because, like, Kanbei is all weak and getting ready to conk out. And Kuroda Nagamasa, though portrayed in this game as a bit of a goof, is a good guy, I guess. So we're supposed to be rooting for him. Anyway, now half the video's over with me explaining the off-screen stuff. But I did basically start recording because I wanted to get going with the stones, with the plot. Sorry. Because I was reading a little bit in the Nioh wiki trying to figure out how to unlock some skills, and basically realized I really just need to play a few more plot missions and I'll have a whole lot more options on what I can spend skill points on. So let's move to the Spirit Stone Slumbers. Hattori Hanzo. The head of the Tachibana family, Lord Munashige, has been missing ever since he left to battle the monsters. If we can aid him, it would be a boon for our campaign. Ukatsu has already arranged a meeting with his wife, the Lady Ginchiyo. William, let us leave for the Tachibana castle at once. Oh, and this would in fact be one of the... There's only 3 female characters. We're about to see the only one we haven't seen. One of them is Okatsu the ninja. or Kunoichi. The other one that you can unlock a skin to play as is the one-eyed blacksmith girl. And now we're about to meet Lady Ginchiyo, and apparently they are the 3 female characters in the game. Or at least the ones who are not, like, demonesses of some kind. Dazaifu Tenmangu Shrine. I'll try that again. Dazaifu Tenmangu Shrine was originally erected to placate an enraged spirit hell-bent on revenge. But that was long ago, and now its halls have been invaded by lawless rogues and ferocious yokai. Rumors abound of a particularly unsettling cry emanating from the vicinity at night. I'm excited. This will be a 3rd map that I'll be able to off-screen like crazy on. You look way different from your Samurai Warriors portrayal. Much more like a plausible, what a Japanese woman of the time would look like. And there's kids in the hall screaming their fool heads off. She seems like she's cool with it either way. Oh, hey, that's the ninja chick in disguise. You can tell because she's got a spirit bunny. Alright, so we got an exciting new stage. We are searching for Tachibana Munashige, who, like all characters worth their salt in this period of Japanese history, is playable in the more recent Samurai Warriors games. Hey, it's Kim Her. This is an actual human player. You can tell because it gave a timestamp for when they were killed. Oh no. I'm having weird sound sync issues in my recording. Which has not been a problem with the recordings themselves. It just distracts me all like bad. I know it sounds like an excuse, but I'm really distracted right now by. Yeah, the videos themselves, the sync is always fine. It sounds like I'm making excuses, but it is incredibly disorienting to have the game sounds be out of sync when you've been playing it not through the recording software. It just like. Okay, some sacred water this guy had. Had I not fought that Revenant, I would be, well, yeah, might as well pray. Oh, I did, off-screen, I went through the first story mission again. And, oh, you know what? Let me show you how I leveled up. So we're now at level 56, way over-leveled for this point in the game according to the levels you're supposed to have. Although people have pointed out in the comments, levels don't matter that much. If you know you either know what you're doing or you don't. But I've been leveling up Spirit a lot, and the reason I've been doing that is because once I started getting other Guardian Spirits, I started noticing something I had not noticed before, which is that there were individual skills that were grayed out, and underneath them it said spirit level required blank. So Kato had something that required you to be up to level 9. Fusei Ushi required a level 11 for the Amarita absorption thing. And then Mizuki here requires you to be at level 13 for it to provide a constant plus 12.5% Amarita boost. So I went ahead and got the Spirit up to 13. And we'll have to see. As I get more and more of these, like, I'll have to decide, do I really want to put that many points into Spirit? Because the main reason to put points in Spirit is because it increases your living weapon effectiveness, and I haven't used that much. I also completely forgot I should have equipped something with Kodama Sense. Thank you. Apologies for not knowing, but thank you to whoever actually pointed out to me the Kodama Sense, because it was useful in finding the Kodama that I'd missed in the last stage. Shouldn't be here without taking a hit. Also, I'm wearing my gold Nioh armor, which in the past I had made a point not to wear on screen, because it's DLC content, but now I just can't be bothered to change it right in the middle of a video. It's probably not. It's not my most combat effective equipment anyway. It's got boosts to how much gold you get. I'm working on getting a I guess I'll need to stop fairly soon. I'm working on getting the maximum. I'm working on getting enough gold to earn a title, because titles give you prestige, which gives you unlockable rewards. After that, like, I'm assuming that having that much gold is considered a lot of gold, and that you need to, like, knock it off and not just do nothing but get gold. There we go. I took a hit there. I thought I had come out of that without taking any hits. Are they defiling the holy ground with their filth? I got chewed out at a shrine in Japan, and by chewed out is probably a strong word, but I was trying to, like, sit in the Japanese style, and I wasn't, like, comfortable. I'm like a lot of YouTube people. I'm kind of a chunky guy and don't have great circulation, and I wasn't able to sit comfortably. So apparently the tour guide told me that I was going to have to, like, move off of the dais and sit in a different section that was reserved for people who weren't going to sit in the Japanese style. And then he told me afterwards that, yeah, the guy insists that people do that, but he did feel bad later on. And like, he didn't speak any English, but he said the guy was actually incredibly polite when he asked you to please leave the dais because you weren't sitting in the appropriate style. I was like, oh, so he felt bad about kicking the gaijin out. I don't think I told that story very well. The point was they were doing a ceremony, and I wanted to sit up on the actual, like, they would allow you to sit up on the stage if you would sit in the Japanese manner and remove your shoes, and I wanted to do that. But after trying for a moment, I was getting really uncomfortable, and before they started, they were like, yeah, get the filthy gaijin who can't sit, like, the proper Japanese style, which, if you're familiar with that, I mean, look it up on Google, Japanese sitting style. And I was like, well, if, you know, get the tourists who can't do that off the stage, because, you know, they're into tourists. Like, it was a shrine, tourists would go there, but they didn't, you know, they had a special place for you to sit where you didn't have to actually observe the customs and could watch. So yeah, this looks like it's an abandoned shrine. It's like a big ass shrine, but it's an abandoned shrine. You can tell by the little thing over there. This shrine. Ooh, this guy's got a clan and everything. Now that I think about it, I'm having enough trouble here with the sound sync. I really shouldn't be pushing my luck with a lot of Revenant battles. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Alright, I'm pushing my luck. Because, like I said, it's throwing my whole combat off. What the hell? I know I'm going back to the shrine when this is over. Now I've used too many elixirs. Let's try to poison him. Oh, I figured out how poison works and why I could never get it to be effective before. You have to keep them. There's a little meter that fills up when you hit them with anything poisoned. And you have to keep them, you have to build it up until they actually get poisoned. So with that cloud, it automatically fills up over a certain period of time. But with the shuriken, you have to hit them with more than one shuriken, and it builds up a little meter. And then with the galnut broth, you have to hit them more than one time. So I kept killing things with the damage before I would actually, via galnut broth, actually poison anything. And galnut broth is a prerequisite for some things that I've been enjoying, like the poison shuriken. So I'm not disappointed or angry that I got the Galnut broth, but I haven't gotten a whole lot of use out of it because you basically have to hit something a whole bunch of times and not kill it. So it would only be, you can only really get it to work against enemies that had a lot of hit points, and the enemies who had a lot of hit points, like the Cyclopses, I was trying to throw the beetle whatever powder at them to kill them, to get them all poisoned, because that was really effective against the Cyclopses. Get them poisoned and then stay away from them and let them die of poison. More than it was against yokai. For whatever reason, the yokai seem to outlast the poison. I guess different enemies have different levels of poison resistance. The Cyclops had like no poison resistance, so you would poison them, and they would just run around in circles trying to get at you and failing and dying of poison. It was pretty cool. Let's just creep over here and hope I can fight this guy without having to deal with ranged guys. I think we're dealing with ranged guys. Somebody threw, yeah, some assholes over there throwing firebombs at us. And I made myself ignore the sound cues and just concentrate on visuals, and that was how I was able to actually win that one. And where's the jerk who's throwing firebombs? And, oh, he's on the other side of a broken bridge. And here I am wasting matchlock armor. Maybe we'll fight another Revenant to call it a video here. Hey, I had him to like 0 staminas. And we got 24 glory. Perhaps by the end of this we will be 0.3% of the way towards being able to play as the ninja chick if we feel like it. I really wanted to play as ninja chicks. Pretty much time to just go back to Ninja Gaiden. Alright guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it a video because I'm having sound sync issues and it's driving me up the wall. And I am going to reboot my freaking computer in the hopes that they go away. I'm Serious JG, thanks for watching, catch you guys next time. They call him Anjin because William's too hard.